review the map to Awesome Mill, create a new identity, and begin the conditioning process. So as I was saying, we have our conscious mind and we have our subconscious mind. And our subconscious mind is really controlled by our values, our beliefs, and if we're not careful, they can actually get in our way and cause us conflict along the way. So we're going to go through the process of shifting those subconscious beliefs, shifting that identity, and what it's going to do is really allow you to take action at a much higher level and really kind of grow and expand. And the great thing about this process is that it can be repeated in other areas of your life. It isn't exclusive to earning money. So you can use this process on your financial earning identity. You can use this process on your husband identity, your wife identity, whatever you may be, your personal body. You want to transform your personal body, you can use the exact same way to transform your body. So this is the objectives for today. We're going to go through this process, and we're going to start this conditioning process and really, think of it like, if you exercise, you work out your body on a regular basis. And if you read books, you work out your mind on a regular basis. But do you work out your emotions on a regular basis? So what we're going to do is we're going to create a conditioning program where you're going to really start conditioning into your subconscious the changes you want to make. And by doing this every day, we're going to build some muscle up, and you're going to see massive differences in what you think, how you view the world, your perceptions, and also the actions you'll take. And on top of that, the results you're going to get are going to skyrocket. So if we look at the 6 weeks, we had on the left you have the title of the section, and on the right is actually what we're going to do. So week 1 today, we're going to focus on our state, our new earning psychology. Week 2, we're going to focus on the drive. We're really going to create a powerful purpose so that we know why we're driving for this. We're going to tap our highest level potential. Week 3, we're going to look at some patterns that may be blocking you, how to change them, and also new patterns to put in to support this new identity. Week number 4, we're going to look at communication skills. Everybody is in sales, regardless of your job. So we're going to look at sales, kind of beliefs around sales, to see if anything's holding you back, if we can change it, and see if we can propel you forward by shifting that mindset a little bit. Week 5, we're going to look at leverage and see how we can add people to your team so that as you grow, you have the resources there, the resources you need to grow to that next level. And then week 6, we're going to look at that process, kind of wrap it up, and continuing it onward. So in fact, if you give this course 100% of your effort, you will double your income in 3 to 6 months. That is a fact. And that's because if you shift your identity, you will then be driven and with massive conviction and 100% of your body, mind, and spirit to go after this course, because we will do whatever it takes to stay in alignment with our identity. So as we create this new identity, what you need to do in this course is just play full out, do all the exercises, commit the time, and you will get the results. It's that simple. So first step here we're going to do is we're going to look at the decision-making process and really kind of, sorry, not the decision-making process. We're going to make a decision to move forward. And this is one of my favorite quotes. And it says, are you willing to live the next few years of your life like most people won't, so that you can spend the rest of your life like most people can't? So what that really means is, are you willing to just bite, bear down, get the work done, get the tough done, put in the effort to get the massive rewards? And what that also means is, are you willing to condition and practice and work when other people aren't working? Are you going to focus on this every day? Because I'm not asking everybody to go work at 10-hour days in conditioning. What you really need to do is a little bit every single day, and it starts to add up. And our target is going to be 30 minutes a day. That's what we're going to shoot for, because if you do 30 minutes a day, your psychology is going to shift, and all of a sudden you are going to break free from old conditioning, and you are going to create massive results. So then the other question is, are you willing to drop all the old stories, excuses, beliefs, whatever may be in place, so that we can really put in some new programming? So what I want you to do is to check in with yourself, as we start going through this content, and as questions come up, you may have an internal response to that, and it may be an emotional response. You may come up with a response that says, well, I don't agree with that, or I don't believe that, or I don't know if that's true, or it could trigger some pain or some fear or push you into out of your comfort zone. And that's what this course is designed to do. So when that comes up, just acknowledge it. Say, oh, I'm feeling discomfort about something. That's interesting. Okay, just note it. And if you can get curious about it, you can actually kind of uncover what it is, because as we start going through these processes, we may trigger an old memory that's associated to a current belief. So if we've got a limiting belief about money or earning and that comes up, it may trigger your memory from childhood. And when that comes up, it's okay. You know, it's just old patterns running that we are in the process of changing, so we put new patterns in there to really support you and drive you the direction you need. So if that comes up, just say, something's coming up. The best thing you can do is share that with me so that I can help address it. So, and then also, you know, for those of you that have one-on-one sessions with me, we can also go in depth to some of those things that come up in those one-on-one sessions. Next thing we want to talk about is the results formula. So if you heard me talk before, you've heard this process. So, you know, this is really one of the most powerful things you can do to stay focused on your outcomes, is to get real clarity on your want, on what it is that you want. Because a lot of people really focus their time on what they have to do. So what do I have to do this week? And what action do I need to take to get this and this and this? And what's happening is you're actually missing out on the real component here, because when you get really clear on what it is that you want, then you know where it's going. If you have it in your head and it kind of changes a little bit, you're missing clarity there. And if you're missing clarity, then you know it's kind of like trying to find a destination in your car that keeps moving. So by getting clear on what it is that you want, the next step is to understand why that you want it. And the reason why we want to look at why you want it is because the why is where the drive comes from. So after you get clarity on what it is that you want, I want to lose 10 pounds in the next month. You know, why do I want it? I want to lose that 10 pounds because I want to have energy and exercise with my kids, and I want to have fun, and I want to be healthy and extend my life and increase the quality of my life. So when you get clear on what you want and why you want it, then it becomes very easy to do it, because when you get tired, and I'm saying, you know, like after a week of working, you maybe have a long day and you haven't done your conditioning process yet, and you feel like skipping it, you're like, well, why am I doing this in the first place? Well, I'm doing this because I want this and this and this, and I'm doing this to impact the lives of those people around me. So really get clear on what it is and why you want. And the best thing about this process is once you get clear on what it is you want and why you want it, the how part is really automatic, because you clearly define what you want, build a powerful why, and you will figure out the how. You really will. So once you follow those two steps, the how becomes automatic. Any questions? Okay, great. So we're going to talk now about some keys to success for this 6-week course. So number one, just keep going. That's always been my motto, just keep going. If you miss a day of the homework or your assignment and you didn't get it done, just pick up where you were and keep going. Just keep going, just keep going, just keep going. Do the best you can. It will pay off big time. So that's our motto. Always just keep going. Don't get frustrated if you feel like you're behind. Just pick up where you're at and keep going. Keep going, keep going, keep going. That's the process there. And some keys to success here is to really play full out and never give up. Just keep going. We'll get you the results. And what you really need to do is, for those of you that haven't been in the Robbins world before, these conditioning exercises really require you to engage your physical body. So if I'm asking you to jump up and down, you need to jump up and down. If I'm asking you to say something out loud, say something out loud. If I'm asking you to yell at the top of your lungs, then yell at the top of your lungs. Because what we're doing is we are using what is called neuro-linguistic programming, and there are techniques to kind of change our subconscious programming and change the patterns that we run on a regular basis. And part of that process is moving your body and getting your body involved in that. So make sure you run all the conditioning exercises. You know, I'm going to recommend the minimum requirements you need to do. If you've got more time in your schedule, do it more. Because the more you do it, the more it's going to be ingrained into you, and the faster it's going to happen. And always engage your entire body, and always use your voice out loud. Talking in your head does not give you the same results. You really have to use your outside voice. So, and for the number 3 tip is really, as we're starting this process, when we're building what and why, you can get rid of the how for now. Because as we start talking about, okay, well, I'm doubling my income, and what does my future look like, and it looks like this, and it has these results, we want to make sure we don't get caught up in how am I going to do that. We want to make sure that we're focusing on the what, the why, and then the how will come after that. So you can push the how aside for now. And you'll get out of this course what you put into this, and really get rid of disbelief and doubt. Whatever you believe about earnings in the past that has kind of kept you here, or believe that, you know, whatever that is, just throw it out the window for now. Imagine you have no opinion whatsoever, and if you don't believe what I'm saying, I'm just asking you to give it a try. and try the exercises and see if it works. And then really know that the only thing stopping you is you. The only thing stopping me is me. We can do anything that we set our minds to. And, you know, it's 80% psychology, 20% action. So once we get that psychology right, the action is automatic. And then one of my other favorite quotes from Tony Robbins is, the only thing stopping you from having everything you want in life is really the story about why you don't have it. So we want to kind of bring some awareness to the thinking that comes up. So as we go through this process, if something comes up that's kind of in conflict, you know, just write it down and say, oh, okay, that's interesting, and just let that go. So, any questions so far? Easy group here. Okay, good. So the transformation process, what we're going to do is we're going to create, and actually most of you actually reconnect with a stronger identity. And we're going to define that new identity. We're then going to create some leverage so that we can change it. And then we're going to condition that new identity. And then that conditioning process, we're going to anchor that into your physical body so you can make a physical move with your body to trigger that identity. And then we can run it, and we want to run it consistently until that becomes your primary identity, because we are going to create a powerful, stronger, more resourceful identity that's going to view things differently and be much more effective. And when you first start out tapping into this identity, you know, it's going to be different than the identity that you're constantly running in. And we want to run this new identity as much as we can so it becomes our default. And if this stuff is new to you, just bear with me, it'll make sense in a second. We're also going to support that identity with rituals and patterns, so we're constantly programming it in and completing it and reinforcing it. And then we want to create and implement a new strategy so that after we build this identity, we go through a couple of weeks, we're going to look at new strategies to grow our income and our team and that potential there. So we're going to start right now with an exercise. So I want everybody to get out a pen and paper and go ahead and write down for me how much money you've made over the past 10 years, you know, and kind of list it out year by year. Year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4, year 5, through 10. And if you can go back further than that, you know, think 10 years ago, or 15 years, 20 years, 30 years, because we want to kind of look at the history of the earning there. So go ahead and do that now. And when you're done, just let me know.
Hey, Jason, I had to come off that webcam because it said my signal was slowing down, so that's why I disappeared.
Okay. Thanks for the update, Dennis. There's room for Judy if she wants to turn on. She's going to hide. There she is. Okay, is everybody, people got some answers here? Okay, now, when you go through this process, why don't somebody tell me, what are you finding out when you look at your earning over the past 10 years, 15 years, 20 years? Who's finished? Sanjay, you look like you're finished. Can you talk from back there?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay.
So what did you discover when you did that process?
Well, the first thing that came in my mind was, oh yeah, remember you're supposed to forget your story or the things that you tell yourself.
Yeah.
When I saw that.
So what did your earnings did they increase or did they decrease, and did you see any patterns there?
I see a roller coaster.
Roller coaster? What type of fluctuation on percentage do you see?
Robert, can you help me answer that question?
Maybe
5%?
5% up, down, up and down?
Up and down.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else? What else we learned? Judy, Mariko? What did you guys discover from this process?
For me, what I noticed is it's been a little bit of an increase every year, just based on like some of the raises I've been getting at work, but nothing significant.
Okay, so you're about what, with like 5%?
Yeah, about that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Mariko, did you have some feedback?
Yeah, first of all, it's revealing, putting it on paper, 10 years, and you clearly see the trend.
Yeah.
What I see is I left my former position in end of 2009, and my income went like 2/3 of what it was, and now it's about half of what it was. I can pay my bills, but I definite decreasing trend.
Okay. All right, Judy.
Yes.
What did you see? Thanks for sharing, Mariko. What did you see in your trend?
I already gave you my.
Oh, I'm sorry, Julie. Julie, not Judy. Julie, what did you see?
Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, so mine's been a little bit of a roller coaster as well. So it started 10 years ago, quite high. I've seen it kind of go down maybe as much as 20%, and kind of stay there for a while and go down another 20%. So yeah, it's been a little bit of a roller coaster.
Okay. All right, Dennis, do you see anything? Anything you want to share?
You know, what I see is I've lived on basically nothing. You know? I'm on disability, and compared to what I made whenever I was working, it's nothing. I mean, and it took 4 years to get on disability, so I've got 4 zeros in a row.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, thanks for sharing. Has anyone had any major increases in the past 15 years? Increases of over like 30%?
No.
No. What about, and this is interesting, the class we did at noon session, we didn't have anybody with that type of increase either. And think about this process. What is this process? You know, Julie, would you mind muting yourself? Or actually, who's on, or try Judy, try muting yourself. We're getting a little feedback. So it's interesting, when this process comes up, did this give you a little bit of leverage? You know, did it kind of stir things up a bit? You know, because do you feel like you're working harder than you were 10 years ago? We're all working harder and we're not getting better results, you know. So if we're not shifting those results, the reason why is because we have shifted that identity. And that identity is, again, is that comfort zone, right? We have a comfort zone expectation of how much we earn. And when we're in that range, you know, we're comfortable. When we get to the bottom of that range, we'll either be in pain or we will adjust our comfort zone. And I think, you know, it may be easy to justify your comfort zone down versus up, because you may have never been earned more than you are now, and some people can work their whole lives and never get that high. So if you did see a decrease in your earning of over like 20% or 30%, you know, the question is, did your identity shift with that, or was there justification for that? So the next question here, how does your earnings compare to how much your parents made? Jump slides. Go ahead and answer that question. There we go. Anybody have any feedback on that? Does anybody make more than their parents? Less than their parents?
Yeah, this is Dennis. I did.
You do? Okay, making more than your parents?
I mean, I did whenever I was working, yeah.
Okay. Any making less than their parents? No? Does anybody notice that some of their beliefs around money they may have picked up from their parents?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, because I discovered some very powerful beliefs around money that, you know, when I went to Unleash the Power Within a couple times, one of the beliefs I was trying to kill was rich people are greedy, because my parents didn't have the best relationship with money, and I adopted that, and I realized that I started thinking rich people are greedy, and because a belief is really something that's wired into our subconscious, and the way to discover your beliefs is to ask yourself, money is blank, rich people are blank, working is blank, and we'll go over that in week 3. But when those come up, if we're working towards something and we're having conflict or we self-sabotage, it's because we have a belief that is in conflict with that. Because your mind will do whatever it takes to keep you in a line with who you think you are and your true identity. So when those beliefs come up and you uncover those, great, capture those, because there is a process for changing those. Because we have to change those, because you can see, I know that we've all worked harder and we're all still making right around the same amount of money, give or take 15%. We need to shift that identity, because when that identity shifts, our entire expectation and comfort zone shifts with it. And as we start to push into higher levels and look at growing exponentially, we're going to feel some discomfort and some stuff come up. For me, I started this job about 10 years ago. I was in technology sales, and I was making $120,000 a year. And I got this job interview with another tech company. It was a lateral job, and it was the guy, a buddy from a previous company worked there, and the hiring manager, the hiring director was his buddy. And when I was walking into the interview, the director was already introducing me to all the employees there, like Jason's the new guy, hey everybody, he's the new guy. And I was like, great, this is in the bag, this is awesome. And to give you an idea of my background, like when I worked in technology sales, when I worked at Ingram Micro, a big distributor, I got promoted as fast as you can get promoted, like 3 promotions in 18 months. And, that was interviewing in front of a team of managers and interviewing against like 15 peers. So if I looked at like the 7 to 8 year period prior to that, I had never interviewed for a job and not gotten a job offer. So I pre-frame, I'm going into this job, and he's like introducing me to everybody. I'm like, yes. And the first thing he says is, this is a $200K job. And I'm like, yes. And then I screwed up the interview, like, boom, like the worst interview I've ever had in my entire life. And I'm like, I could have just said my name and got the job. And what I realized about a year ago, that it was pushing me out of my comfort zone so much, because at the time I had made a lateral move and gone from like 40,000 to like 120,000, and that kind of freaked out my parents and my sister, and I started to be kind of ostracized for that. And when I had this opportunity to make 200K, as much as I was like, yeah, that's awesome, I sabotaged to keep myself in that comfort zone. So I would have loved to have that job. It was an interesting lesson, but the point is, if we're not careful, we can work and work and work, but if the psychology doesn't shift, we're never going to make the difference. And the great thing is, once we shift the psychology, everything else is easy. It'll happen. Because once you know what and you know why, and this is who I am, you'll find a way. You will find a way, guaranteed. So you've got to run the conditioning exercises. That's the power here. So that's an interesting exercise here. So what we want to talk about next is turning fear into power. So one thing Tony Robbins talks about that I like to share with you is, the 2 forces that control everything is, number 1, our need to avoid pain, or need to avoid fear, and our need to gain pleasure. And everything that we do or don't do is based on our human desire to do one of those 2 things. And what we want to do now is, as we do this process and start shifting our identities, we want to link pain to the old way of doing things. And we want to link pain to the old way so that we get leverage to make the change, so we get the motivation. And we want to link pleasure and excitement and fun to the new way, so that you're like, okay, pain to the old, excitement to the new, I'm going to go new, okay? Because as a shifting process, it's going to push you a little bit to your comfort zone. I'm doing this because to get out of pain to go this way. It's going to make that shift easier. So one way to do that is we want to use fear to our advantage, okay? Now, fear is something that is wired into our DNA. It is instinctual for us to avoid fear. It's instinctual for run and hide. Having courage is not instinctual, but that's kind of what our gut sometimes tells us to do and our heart is for, right? So we go for it. And what we want to do is we want to use fear so that instead of fear stopping us from taking action, from fear of rejection, fear of failure, fear of success, fear of getting no's, fear of failure, any of those things, we want to use fear as the driver that's pushing us across our comfort zone to the next level. Because once we do that, the real power comes when we get in alignment. And I'm going to stop letting fear control me, and I'm going to use it. You're never going to be completely free of fear, but we can control it so that it drives us in the direction we want. So when we start to go through this process of going through the results formula, what do I want, why do I want it, how am I going to get it, when we get to the why portion, we want to associate pain to the purpose. If I don't do this, this is going to happen. And this is a situation where artificially exaggerating the painful side will help you, because what we're doing is we're talking to our subconscious to give us more drive so we get the results we want. And it's going to push us through our comfort zones, push us through some of these fears we may have, because we're not going to create even bigger fear. Think of like, if I don't hit double my income in 3 to 6 months, horrible things will happen. Like, here's an extreme example. If someone went up to my wife and my 2 sons and put guns to all their heads and said, Jason, if you don't double your income in 6 months, they're pulling the trigger. Do you think I would double my income in 6 months if that was the leverage I had? You know, if that's the kind of leverage I had, it would happen. It's done. Boom, right? So when you're building this process, give yourself some leverage, okay? And what I want to make sure is this doesn't mean hate where you're at right now, okay? And sometimes when people go through this growth process and raising their standards and pushing to a higher level, they'll start to resent where they are now. And what we want to do is like, hey, I'm happy where I am now, and I'm falling in love with the push, the stretch to get to the next level. Because if you're resenting where you are now, you're going to have a bad foundation. So be content with what you have in life. You always should be. Hey, I'm happy in life. I've got friends and family. This is perfect. And now I'm going to go for the next level. Okay? So going to that next level, use that leverage in any way you want to push to that level. So does that make sense? Any questions about that? Okay. So right now, we've got another exercise for everybody. And I want you to write down why you must change your identity, this financial earning identity, number one. And number two, what will it cost you over the next 10, 20 years, 30 years? Don't change it. Go ahead and do that now. Let me know when you're finished.
I'm done.
Okay, thanks. Okay, Dennis, I think you said you were done. You want to give us an example? What do you have? What will happen over the next 10 years if you don't change it?
On that, I just put, as far as I'm concerned, it would cost my secure future. You know, that's what I'm trying to do is secure my finances and you know, lock in my future. So, because the way things are right now, that's not the case.
Okay. Good, good. Anybody else want to share? Robert, do you want to share? You want me?
Sure.
What's going to happen? Yeah.
Oh, you can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I thought I muted myself. Yeah, I mean, the next 10 years, it'll probably cost me the best 10 years of my life with my son growing up and just being with him and watching him grow up and being able to run and enjoy my free time. I mean, 20 years, I'll be 60, and I know 60 is young, but to me, it's like my prime years are going to be gone and I can't go back. I have to live for this moment now. And 30, it's just freedom of time and to be able to do everything I want today and for the next 30 years of my life. I'm 41-ish, and I'm halfway through some point of my life where I don't want to look back at it and just be some faded memory of I don't remember what's going on.
Good. Thanks for sharing. Does everybody got some more motivation right now? Yeah? Some motivation? Okay. All right. So now let's do this. Let's stand up. Let's shake our bodies a bit. So you tell I have a standing desk. Yeah. I'm shake our bodies a little bit. Okay. Now what we're going to do is we're going to switch that around. And right now, I want you to think about what will happen if you double your income in 6 months. Where will you be in a year? And if you double your income every 6 months for the next 10 years, where will you be? What will life be like then? Yeah. What will you be doing? Will you be driving? Will your body look different? Will your relationships be different? Will you have a house somewhere? Good. Okay. Anybody want to share this one? How's this sound? Where will you be? Where will you be in a year if you double your income in 6 months? Anybody?
I'll just.
Yeah, Dennis?
I feel like I'd have some breathing room.
Breathing room. That sounds nice. And where would you be in 10 years if you doubled your income every 6 months for 10 years?
I would probably be traveling the world, I'd say.
Nice, nice. What else? Let me hear one more. I'd like to hear these. Where would you be in 20 years? Somebody else. So you doubled your income every 6 months for 10 years.
I'll go.
Okay, Sonia.
I think I'll be able to be.
All right, go ahead.
I think I'll be able to be more of a giver than a taker.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Be in a position to contribute and help.
Yes.
That's a great perspective. Because think about the people that you can help. Who will you be able to help? Who will you be able to contribute for? That's a great way to have a powerful drive. So now we're going to jump over to the for our state. We're going to go through the state process right here. So I love this quote here. The strongest force in the strongest force in the universe is a human being's need to live consistently with its identity. So once we shift identity, you're going to get your body, your mind, your spirit, your intuition, your gut, your instinct is going to do everything to be in alignment with that. And that's why this is so powerful. And these identities that we're now, we can also use the word state for an identity. And identity really is a personality, you know. And so we have different personalities, right? You have a happy personality, a sad personality, excited, you know, playful, you know, and some people call them moods. But in reality, they're different states. They're different personalities. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go through this process of creating this state. And as we go through this process to create this state, this is the state that you're going to tap into and go into every time through the conditioning process and through the rest of this course. So as we start to carve out time in your day to work on this process, every week we're going to add some pieces to it so you can really start to condition this on a regular basis, work those emotional muscles, and really take control of the emotions you're feeling. So all of a sudden, your life is now run by the emotions that you should be there, and these are going to be powerful, resourceful emotions, so you're going to get results you want in your life, and you're going to be playful and have more fun and whatever else is important to you. Now, there's 3 components to a state, and so these 3 components are kind of what we're going to go and focus and go through, and if you have one-on-one sessions with me, we can do this on a one-on-one basis, but it'll be just as valuable to do it on the group session that we're doing right now. So the first part of it is your physiology, how you move your physical body. If you're ever having trouble changing your state, you need to move your body more. If something hits you at work or with a relationship or something that you're just like, oh, I didn't need that today, and you're having trouble getting out of that state, you need to move your body. You need to jump up and down. You need to shout really loud, literally like, yes, like loud to just break that state. The voice is one of the most powerful ways to break the state. So yell really loud, shout. If you're in a place where you can't yell real loud, yell into a pillow, move that body, do push-ups, sit-ups, work your muscles, bicep curls, flex your whole body. That's how you change your state. Number of body is the most powerful way. The second thing is the focus and what you focus on. You know, I am awesome at everything, or I'm too young, I'm too old, I'm smart, I'm not smart. So we're going to start to look at that language that we're what our focus is, and then also our language as well. So with this process right here, we're going to kind of go through this process of creating the state. So what I want everybody to do here is I want everybody to stand up or sit up straight. And if you don't want people to hear what you're saying, go ahead and mute yourself. Because I know some people in this process will not shout out loud because people are hearing, and you have to say this out loud or it's not going to work. To get this to work, this is where you need to play full out. You need to really play full out here. Okay, so let's shake our body a bit. You know, if you've got to move, you can make your move. If you don't, we're going to create it right now. So what I want everybody to do is stand up. Everybody stand up, put your pens down. And I want you to close your eyes and to think about this course. And think about this course being successful and being easy and really shifting your identity and the process being great and having fun and just really blowing it out. And you realize that you just doubled your income in 6 months. You're like, oh my God, this is ridiculous. It's so awesome. I just did it. I'm going to do it again. And then you did it the next 6 months after that. And then the next year you did it again. So let's put ourselves, imagine we're like 18 months from now and we've actually doubled our income 3 times. Keep your eyes closed, everybody. Close your eyes. Move your body a little bit. I want you to move your body, kind of bounce back and forth, get some movement in there. And just stand up tall and breathe. Everybody moan. Now, with your eyes closed, imagine you're 18 months from now. You've completely owned this process more so than anything else in your life that you've learned. You own this inside and out. You live it, you breathe it, and you've made it happen. And let's say you're at that day, you get a phone call, and calling you 18 months from now is your current self. And you're like, oh my God, Julie or Jason, we're 18 months from now, we did it, and it's happening, and it's continually growing and growing and growing. And then I'm like, your current self says, that is awesome. What are you feeling? What 3 emotions are you feeling? And you in your 18 months from now saying, I'm feeling this emotion and this emotion and this emotion. So figure out which 3 emotions came up for you were the emotions that you owned on a daily basis that got you here. Were you happy? Were you focused? Excited? Confident? Courageous? Adventurous? Playful? Fun? What were those 3 words? And think about those 3 words. And think about those 3 emotions in your body, right? So you've got those 3 emotions. And does everybody have those 3 emotions? You can just move on the webcam. I can take a look, yeah? Okay, good. So you've got those 3 emotions. Now for a second, I want you to think of a moment in your life when you really owned all 3 of those emotions. If you were excited and playful and passionate, or you were happy and courageous and strong or assertive and adventurous, think of a time in your life that you owned all of those. Think of that time and literally go back there. Go back to that time. And maybe this was a time you were in another job and you were really successful there, or a time you were owning yourself or did great, or maybe it was in high school, or maybe it was a friend and you were owning those three emotions. Whatever those three emotions were, find a time. And when you find that time, close your eyes, keep your eyes closed, and let your body move like you're back in that time. Let your body move. So you're back in that memory when you own those emotions. And think about how your body was moving at that time. Breathe how you were breathing at that time. Put yourself back in that memory. You're there. You're thinking what you thought at that time. You're breathing how you breathed at that time. You're focused on what you felt at that time. The truth is exactly the same as it was then. And really start to pay attention to your posture now. Now you're in that state, you're in that old posture of that time. You had those three awesome emotions and you felt awesome and unstoppable. Do a quick scan of your posture. Where are your shoulders? Your shoulders back? Are they forward? Where's your head? Is your head looking up? Is it looking down? Is your chin up? Where's your breathing? You breathing slow and deep? You breathing strong? And really, as you're owning that state, that emotion, that time you were in before, think about your hands and your arms. Are your arms at your side? Are your hands in front of you? Are they moving? Are you on the balls of your feet? Is your weight on your heels? Is your weight balanced between your body, right to left? Because what we're actually doing right now, and if this is a state that you've had in your life, you completely have it within you, because this is simply, it's an equation. How you move your body activates that. If this is not a state that you can remember, then just make one up. If you were back in that point in the future, go to that time, that state, because it doesn't make a difference. So as long as you're owning those three emotions, I'm feeling powerful and confident and excited. And don't be worried if you didn't think you got the right three emotions. Whatever three you picked are perfect. And move your body and scan your body a little bit to see if you may have noticed any particular physiological movement. Is your head tilted to one side, or is there a part of your physiology that stands out? Are you pinching one of your fingers, or are you curling your toes? Because as we go through this process, we're going to find that these states are, most of these states that we do are going to be positive states. So you're going to have good posture, shoulders back, chin up. But I want you to scan your body, because there's usually one key part of your physiology that's different for each one. Sometimes it's your head tilted to the right, or maybe you're squinting or brows down. It's a simple trigger. So now when you're in that state, you're on that time, and your body's just feeling like you own those emotions, and you know you're back in that 18 months from now, and you're kicking butt, and you're like, oh my God, I've made so much money, I've got houses, I'm financially free, this is so awesome. And imagine that you're taking your jacket. It could be put a jacket you're wearing that this person with these three emotions would wear, or maybe it's a cape, you know. You could be a superhero, maybe it's a cape. And whatever it is, pick it up, and as you put it on, you look down on the front, and you can see that there's a name tag there. And it's not your regular name. It's really your real name, you know. It's really that name that when you see that name, you kind of like own this power even more. You own the power of this state. And you're just like, yeah, that's who I am. That's who I am. And when you say that name out loud. Say it out loud. So if you want to listen to me, my name is Thor. Thor. When I say that, I get a physiological shift. And whatever that word is, don't judge it, just use it, because it's a trigger for everybody. It's different for everybody. So whatever that name is, just say it out loud. Thor! Say your name out loud. Say it out loud. Feel that shift happen in your body and just own it. And know that every time you say that, it gets stronger. Yes! And what I want you to do is make a fist with your right hand. Squeeze your right hand. Like, yes! Yes! And say yes out with me. Yes! And say yes again. One more time. Yes! Say that name. Ah! I'm Thor! Whatever that word is. Say that. And now you've got that posture moving, and you're owning that. You've got your cape, you've got your coat, whatever piece it is. And you're going to go out for a walk. And as you're going out for a walk, you listen to your iPhone or iPod, and your favorite song is playing. And that song, you just love that song. song is so awesome. And it's like you hear this song and it literally charges you. And every single cell in your body is getting more and more power, and you're owning those emotions, those 3 emotions even more. And then all of a sudden you notice that your iPod has actually been skipping over the same lyric for like the past 10 minutes, but you love it. It's perfect. And there's one phrase that gets repeated over and over again. And that phrase could be, I am, and then those emotions named after it. I am happy and confident and excited. It could be I'm unstoppable. It could be I can do anything. What is that phrase that you're hearing when you're in that state, with that person, with that name, that identity? What is that phrase you're hearing? And that phrase, say that phrase out loud. Say that phrase out loud, and then this time add the word yes at the end. I can do anything, yes! Now I want you to try it again, and this time I want you to say it with yeah. I can do anything, yeah! And then feel how it feels in your body when you say that. Now this time say, oh yeah, at the end. I can do anything, oh yeah! Be sure to insert your phrase into that. And then if you want to use an F-bomb, go try that. I can do anything, fuck yeah! Which one of those felt better in your body? One of them felt better. Say it again. If you need to compare them, I can do anything, yes. I can do anything, oh yeah. I can do anything, fuck yeah. I can do anything, fuck yes. Figure out which one's the powerful one for you. And then say that one. Yes, and do it again. Do it again. Do it again. And make that move. Make that move. Make that move. Squeeze your fist. Squeeze your fist. Squeeze your fist. Good. Good. So now in this state, okay, now everybody open your eyes. Okay. I'm going to sound like, oh, actually, no, I can't do that. You're self-muted. So, how's everybody feeling? Do you feel this state? Did everybody come up with a name? Let's hear some of the names. I want to hear some of the names. What kind of names we got? Sit down and sit up tall. Sit up tall. Who's got a name for us here? I want to hear some names.
Awesome America.
Awesome America, yeah. Okay, who else?
Yes.
Who's got a name?
Yeah, I got one.
What's your name?
I don't know why this came, but it was the CEO of a medical company that I worked for, and his name was Brad Hummel. But whenever I picture,
yeah,
that he just comes in my head as to who, you know, it's I don't know.
It doesn't matter what it is. So good, it's a trigger. What about Judy? You're smiling. I can see. What's your name?
Just when you were talking about Thor, the superhero thing came into my mind, so this Wonder Woman was one that just came up.
Good, good. Sandhya, who are you?
I went the Indian route. I went the Indian route. I call myself Sandhya Rani, which literally means Queen Sandhya.
Good, good. Robert, who are you? Who are you really?
I think because my whole life is focused on no, it's Daddy Dynamite.
Woohoo!
Dynamite?
Yeah, Daddy Dynamite.
There you go. There you go. Good. Julie, who are you?
Stellar.
Stellar? Good.
Yeah.
Good, good. Now, I want you to go down and capture the 3 emotions, capture the name, and capture the phrase. Go ahead and do that right now. And let me know when you're done.
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 Okay. Okay. So what we're going to do here, we're probably going to run a little bit over 7 or a little past the hour, not much. What we want to do here is, as part of our conditioning process, is we're going to practice going into this state, okay? And when we made the move, if you can see me on my camera, the move that I made is the squeezing your fist. So if you want to swing it out here and get power, or go yes, or move your whole body, you can do that. If you want to jump up and down first, you can do that. That works. And the important thing is when you first start doing this, you want to make sure that when you're testing it, okay? You're not like, does this work? What you want to do is you want to do this, and right before you do it, you know 100% that it's going to work. And regardless if you feel it that second, you pretend anyway, okay? Because if you do that and you just pretend anyway, like literally when I do this, I feel a charge through my body because I've done this so much. So what you want to do is go, and it just happens regardless, you know? So, you know, the fake it till you make it, right? So this is what we want to do, because this state is going to be the powerful state that we're going to get into. Because when you're in this state, your fears and stuff goes away, you get more focused, and it's going to really help us be this new identity, this new person. And those emotions that you've triggered are the emotions that you need to live in to create that state, whatever they are. They're different for everybody. So when you go through this process, you got to, and it may work better right now than when you try it when you get home or tomorrow, but when you try it, you just pretend, okay? So if it's not working, just pretend, or do it over, like you're pumping up, right? Because then you can use this process and you can trigger other emotions. So right now you can see my energy is kind of high, but if I go like this, I immediately kind of shift into gratitude. Because those are physiological states. Let's switch that back. Go into a masculine state. Back to normal. Gone. See? So those are all they're just patterns. That's all they are. And you can repeat this process with a creative state. Maybe you're blogging or writing, relationship state too. You want to go back in your relationship and trigger those memories of when you first dated. And you can do the same process. And if you want, you can create different triggers. Oh, this next time I'm going to pull my ear. And the key is when the state is at a peak, when you're in that state and you feel it peak, pull with something with repetition or, you know, whatever you're doing. Something unique, and that'll create the anchor. And the more you practice it, the more it works. Okay? Make sense? Okay, so now everybody get up. We're going to condition this a couple times. So stand back up. Jumping is always good. If you feel like you're a little stuck, jump and imagine that old state just kind of bouncing off, dropping it to the floor like a coat. Just dropping it. It's gone. Take a deep breath, and then you can say that name. Door! Yes! Say yes. Get back into that. Yeah. Move that posture like it was. Remember that posture? Just get into that posture. Okay. Is everybody back? Okay. So now what we're going to do now is we're going to practice going between this state and a shitty state. Okay? So we're in this state, peak state right now. Just let it go. Back to normal. Just gone. Peak state. Back. Okay, just let it go. Now sit down in your chair. Now, I want you to pick a state that you've been feeling a lot lately that sucks. Are you feeling overwhelmed? Are you feeling stressed, frustrated, angry, broke, depressed? And get your posture in that same posture. And you were in that state, how were you sitting? Were you sitting back? Were you hunched over? Is your head down? Breathe shallow. Were you holding your breath? Were you asking why questions, like why is this happening to me? Why again? You feeling kind of hopeless, or really get into it? I want you to get back into that state. Feel that emotion. Ask those questions that reinforced it. Whether it was stressed out, angry, frustration, helpless, depressed, sad. If you're there, shake your head. Everybody there? Okay. Now, what we want to do is we know that these states can shift in just a second. Like, they can shift like that, okay? From this state, When I count down from 3 and say go, I want you to stand up. I want you to jump in the air. I want you to say yes, and then say your identity and make that move, okay? So what we're going to do is I'm going to count down. You're going to stand, say yes, and say your name, okay? 3, 2, 1. Stand up, everybody. Jump, say yes, 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 yes. Say your name. 4. Make that move. Get back into it. Get back into it. Is everybody back? Yeah? You back?
My heart rate like jumps and goes.
Well, just move the, hey, you can still move your body. Is everybody back? Is you back, Dennis? Good?
Yeah, I'm saying it. Yeah, my heart rate jumps.
Good, good, good. Okay, I see smiles. Okay, let this peak state go again. Drop it. Go back into that crap state. Start with your physiology. Is your head down? Get the smile off your face. Get rid of that smile right now. This time go deeper into that state. Deep into that disempowering state. Breathe the way you breathe in that state. Do what you do when you're agitated. You bite your nails, grit your teeth. Really go into that. Ask some why questions to reinforce it. Really feel that emotion and feeling helpless to change it. What kind of why questions do you ask? What are you trying to control that you can't? What failures are you living in that are making you feel awful? Okay. I'm going to count down now. 3, 2, 1. Everybody jump back up. Jump back up. Yes! Say yes, yes! Make that move. Rah! Say your name. Bar! Bar! Rah! Rah! Yeah! Yes! Yeah! Yeah! Okay, we back? Everybody back? Good, good. Is everybody back? So now when that comes up, you now know what to do. Okay? And when you try this the next time, remember, it works regardless before you feel it, this is electricity. You know? So you got this. Good, I see smiles. Right? Any questions, any feedbacks? Any comments?
Yeah, I like this.
Awesome. There really is a manual for these emotions. There really is. And all we want to do is you want to be in this state more than you're in the other state. And the more you practice this, the more it comes. And the reason we give it a name is just like when you get a dog, right? First thing you do when you get a dog, you want it to come, you call its name. And what you can also do is if you want to make a poster, you can make a little poster, like on an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper. I'll show you an example here of a poster. So my name is well, I've got a couple of these identities, and the name of this identity is Thor. So what I do is I cut out a picture of the cartoon hero, and I put my head over it, and I put the phrase. So that's my poster right there. And I have a bunch of these posters. I have these posters for every one of my states. So I have the name, the phrase, so that when I go through my morning ritual, I trigger that. And this is one when I was working too much and was really stressed out. So we're conditioning these, right? This is a conditioning process. So we've got that state, good. So what we're going to do now is we're going to practice that. So what we want to do here is we want to do our assignments. Okay, so we're going back to the deck. We're going to wind it up right here. So your assignments here are, 1, the daily conditioning exercises, and number 2, answer the deck questions. So throughout this slide deck, you can see that this slide deck is titled with exercise. Any of the slides that have the word exercise as a title, go back through it and make sure you answer all those. And if they're one that we've covered today, just make sure that, it's done. There's a few other here we haven't covered. And then for the conditioning exercises, what I want you to do is, this is emotional fitness, right? We're working out our body, we're working out our minds, we want to work out. And the more we do this, the stronger it's going to get. So pretty much we're going to be unstoppable. A little bit every day is going to add up. And you want a minimum of 30 minutes a day, minimum. If you want to take weekends off, that's up to you, but I would try to get it in, because we're going to be giving ourselves some space here. And most of us today work way too much without taking breaks. So this is going to be a gift to you in numerous ways. So I want you to take 30 minutes of doing this, or 2 15-minute sessions, or 3 sessions of 10 minutes. First thing you wake up in the morning, get into this state for 10 minutes. Lunchtime, do it again. The afternoon, evening, do it again. And you will feel awesome giving yourself a break from work with no phone, no email, no Facebook. Don't do that. So 30 minutes a day is minimum. If you've got more time, hey, if you do this 10 minutes every hour, even better. You know, you cannot do this enough. So, and the way it works is you want to get into that state. So you make that move, jump up and down, get your energy up a little bit first. Yeah. And if you're seated, you can, you know, if you can't stand, you can do it with pump your fists, move your energy, doesn't matter, your biceps. So you want to move that physical body, that flex or whatever you're going to do, make that move, feel it happen, know it's going to happen, and then use your phrase, I am boom, I am boom. And then what you're going to do is for that 10-minute period, you're just going to go out and own that state. And, you know, walks are great for this, or if you just want to sit in the yard, or, you know, whatever you're going to do, it's good to have some movement. So if you go out on a walk and you just walk around in that state, and you're just repeating that phrase, I can do anything, I can do anything, I can do anything. And when you're saying it, you want to say it out loud. And the best thing to do is, if you're going to go on a walk, is to go into somewhere in your house and say it at the top of your lungs. I can do anything. And when you do that, it really increases your energy. And then you can go out there and I can do anything. I can do anything. I can do anything. Oh, yeah. And then just do that for 10 minutes, 10 minutes. So 30 minutes a day, you can break it up and just go into that state and give yourself that gift. And then next week, we're going to add to that. Here are some of the peers that I went through. And some of these are like, compared to your peer group, what do people who make less money than you do, and what do people who make more money than you do? So those are some questions there. I emailed out the copy of the deck to everybody. So you have that deck to go through. There's a PDF version of it. And that is it. Questions? Questions? Feedback?
This is great.
Good.
I'm excited.
Good. Happy to hear that.
Jason. Great energy.
Okay. I'm sweating in here. Yeah. Well, it's still 90 in Sacramento right now. It's blazing. And then one other question is, the schedule for the following courses was every Monday. Next week is Labor Day, so it's Tuesday. And then a few weeks out, it had got pushed to Tuesday because of the facility that I was using for the noon session. That doesn't happen anymore. Would it be easier for you guys if we, after Labor Day, we just do all Mondays? Or do you guys want to stick to this current schedule?
I'm flexible either.
Mondays are fine for me.
Is everybody okay with moving it back? Everybody okay moving it after Labor Day? Everything goes back to Mondays. Does that work for everybody?
Yes.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
fine.
Does that work for you, America?
Yeah, it's fine. Yes, it
That
does.
works? Okay. So the web conference information will be the same that it is now. I'll send an update on that. And if you've got a one-on-one session and you want to schedule that, go right ahead. You can use the link, and we can integrate this stuff further, or you can wait until next week after that. So thanks, everybody. I appreciate you guys playing full out. This is awesome. Good. Enjoy conditioning, fun. And if you don't like the word conditioning, change it. Say, these are my playfulness exercises, or these are my massive well fulfillment exercises, or this is my freedom time, you know? I didn't use the hope because I think some people don't like homework. So call it whatever you want to call it that makes it fun.
Thanks,
Okay.
Jason.
Thank
All
you.
right, everybody. Thank you very much.
Have a great night.
Good night.
Take care.